When someone goes missing, the first few hours are usually filled with confusion, phone calls go unanswered, plans are missed, and loved ones try to convince themselves there must be a simple explanation. But in some cases, what investigators discover afterward makes the disappearance even more disturbing. In this video, we're looking at 5 real missing persons cases that stand out because of the strange clues, unsettling evidence, and troubling details left behind. From homes that revealed something was seriously wrong to last known sightings that raised more questions than answers, these cases show how a disappearance can quickly turn into something much darker. Some of these people vanished without a trace. Others left behind clues that changed the entire investigation. Here are 5 real-life missing persons cases that remain particularly troubling. This photo of a woman wearing a black face mask and a long brown skirt standing with her arms folded on an empty highway at night seemed to be just a normal, candid photograph. But once you know the truth behind it, you may never look at it the same way again. In the northeastern Mexican state of Nuevo León, the bustling city of Escobedo hummed with life on the night of April 8, 2022. Among the city's residents was 18-year-old DEBANHI Escobar, a young woman with dreams and aspirations like any other. She had joined her friends for a night of partying, seeking an escape from the ordinary routines of daily life. On the night of her disappearance, DEBANHI and her friends attended a party in downtown Escobedo. But as the night wore on, tensions flared between DEBANHI and her friends, resulting in a heated argument that left her feeling isolated and alone. Desperate to leave the situation behind, DEBANHI turned to her friends for help. They in turn arranged for a ride home with a driver they believed they could trust, a man known only as Jesus. Jesus, a 47-year-old taxi driver, was a familiar face to the girls. He had been called upon to provide rides in the past, and they had no reason to doubt his reliability. But as they went on the trip home along the Monterrey-Nuevo Laredo highway, in the early hours of the morning, things took a sinister turn. A disagreement erupted between DEBANHI and Jesus, the details of which remain shrouded in mystery. What sparked the argument and why it escalated so quickly may never be known. But what is clear is that Jesus abruptly left DEBANHI stranded on the side of the desolate highway, a decision that would have devastating consequences. Alone in the darkness, DEBANHI faced a difficult situation. The highway, known ominously as Death Road, stretched out before her, its eerie silence broken only by the occasional passing vehicle. In the solitude of the night, she stood vulnerable and exposed, her fate hanging in the balance. It was around 5 a.m. when Jesus took a photo of DEBANHI, capturing a chilling moment frozen in time. In the image, she stands alone, her back turned away from the camera, her expression obscured by the darkness. Her long skirt billows in the breeze as she gazes down the road, her thoughts and fears known only to her. The photo, intended as proof of her well-being, instead became a haunting reminder of her disappearance. As the image circulated on social media, it drew widespread attention to DEBANHI's situation, sparking a frantic search for answers. In the days that followed, DEBANHI's family and friends frantically searched for any sign of her whereabouts. But as the hours turned into days, their hopes dwindled, replaced by a gnawing sense of dread. And then, 13 agonizing days later, their worst fears were realized. DEBANHI's body was discovered submerged in a cistern on the grounds of the Nueva Castilla Motel, just meters away from where she was last seen alive. The autopsy report revealed a terrifying discovery. She died from asphyxia by obstruction of respiratory orifices. But what caused this obstruction remains a mystery, leaving her loved ones grappling with unanswered questions and a profound sense of loss. For DEBANHI's family, the pain of her loss is immeasurable. Their vibrant, spirited daughter was taken from them far too soon, leaving behind a void that can never be filled. As they grieve her untimely passing, they are left to wonder what might have been, haunted by the unanswered questions that linger in the wake of her disappearance. But DEBANHI's story is not just one of tragedy. It is also a call to action. Her death has ignited a firestorm of outrage, shining a spotlight on the pervasive issue of violence against women in Mexico. As her family seeks justice and closure, they are joined by countless others who refuse to let her death be in vain. Raymond SALMEN, a 65-year-old Vancouver resident, set out on May 28th for a camping adventure at Harrison Lake, leaving behind the hustle and bustle of city life. With his trusty truck and camper in tow, he embarked on the journey to the tranquil shores of the lake, eager for a respite from the demands of everyday life. Located within British Columbia, Harrison Lake offered Salmon a sanctuary of solitude and natural beauty. The journey to his chosen campsite was an adventure in itself, navigating winding forestry service roads that meandered through dense forests and craggy outcrops. Upon reaching his destination, Salmon's campsite at the north end of the lake exuded an inviting aura, beckoning him to embrace the serenity of the wilderness. Surrounded by towering trees and the soothing lull of lapping waves, he felt a sense of peace wash over him as he settled into his temporary abode. For days, Salmon immersed himself in the simple pleasures of outdoor living, fishing in the crystal-clear waters of the lake and exploring the untamed beauty of the surrounding landscape. His two beloved dogs, faithful companions on his outdoor adventures, accompanied him on his daily excursions, their joyful barks echoing through the wilderness. However, Salmon's idyllic retreat took a sinister turn on June 9th, when Agassiz RCMP received reports of shots fired in the vicinity of his campsite. The tranquility of the forest was shattered by the jarring sound of gunfire, sending ripples of unease through the peaceful enclave. Concerned campers alerted the authorities, prompting an immediate response from law enforcement. As RCMP officers descended upon the scene, they were met with an eerie silence, the echoes of the shots fading into the stillness of the forest. Upon arrival, officers discovered Salmon's campsite abandoned, with his two faithful dogs left behind with no sign of their owner. The mystery deepened as investigators combed the area for clues, searching for any trace of the missing camper. Days turned into a relentless search effort, with search and rescue teams scouring the rugged terrain surrounding Harrison Lake in a desperate bid to locate Salmon. His distraught wife, Daniela, anxiously awaited news of her husband's whereabouts, clinging to hope amidst the uncertainty. As the search intensified, chilling discoveries surfaced, painting a grim picture of Salmon's fate. His belongings were found scattered along a secluded beach, a haunting example to the events that unfolded on that fateful day. Police theorized that Salmon may have found himself in a state of medical distress, resorting to firing shots in a desperate plea for help. Despite his efforts, salvation eluded him, and he allegedly attempted to swim back to his campsite, only to succumb to the unforgiving waters of Harrison Lake. The subsequent water search proved arduous, as search teams navigated the treacherous depths of the lake in search of Salmon's elusive remains. The murky waters concealed the truth, thwarting all attempts at recovery and leaving authorities grappling with the enigma of Salmon's disappearance. As time passed, hope waned, and the harsh reality of Salmon's fate settled over the tranquil shores of Harrison Lake like a shroud. Despite the exhaustive efforts of search and rescue teams, the wilderness held fast to its secrets, leaving Daniela and Salmon's loved ones grappling with the agonizing uncertainty of his fate. The Great Grand Canyon is significant due to its history, majesty, and vastness. This story is about Floyd Roberts III, who loved nature, and his explorer nature brought him to the Grand Canyon. This is where the Grand Canyon tested his willpower and put him in a horrific tale for coming visitors. The story begins in June 2016, when the western part of the Grand Canyon, Arizona, witnessed burning temperatures, with records reaching 36 degrees Celsius. The intense heat created challenging conditions for hiking, making it critical for visitors to stay hydrated and take precautions. The surrounding landscape, characterized by stony ground and stunning views, added to the beauty of the adventure. However, the harsh conditions also posed risks, and tragically, Roberts went missing, with no clue in the vastness of 17 square miles. Ned Bryant and Floyd Roberts have been hiking together in the Grand Canyon since 1992. Over 2 decades, the two friends established an exemplary friendship. Bryant was a board member of the Grand Canyon Hikers and Backpackers Association, and Roberts was a professional hiker. On June 16, 2016, Roberts planned the hike with Ned Bryant and his daughter, Madeline Bryant. The trio started on a 9-day journey across the Shivwitz Plateau. They planned to exit the canyon through Separation Canyon, with dreams of riverside camping in the starting days and an optimistic finish on June 26th. Equipped with 2 gallons of water, a week's worth of food, and vital hiking gear, Roberts joined the expedition prepared for the challenges ahead. The group faced a decision point on a hill at 4:45 p.m. as the sun dipped behind the canyon walls. Roberts decided to take a different route. The plan was to reunite on the other side of the hill. Suspense turned to concern when, at the decided point, Roberts was nowhere to be found, and anxious moments turned into a desperate search. Bryant and his daughter started to look for Roberts on the road, but Floyd had vanished, leaving the canyon into a mystery. According to sources, Roberts was last seen near Kelly Tanks. He was heading towards Trail Canyon. This area was known as the Western Grand Canyon Parachute National Monument. Roberts' disappearance urged Bryant and his daughter to camp for the night, hoping that Roberts would return. The next day, when the hope decreased, they hiked to an area with mobile signals. They reported Floyd missing to the National Park Service on Saturday, June 18th. The day the search team started operations, the temperature went to 33 degrees C. Despite the extreme heat conditions, the search team, which consisted of 15 people, did its best to locate the 52-year-old hiker. With sniffer dogs leading the way, the search became a collective effort. 7 ground teams and the National Park Service NPS helicopter descended upon the Rocky Canyon. The search covered over 10 square miles of challenging landscape. The Grand Canyon Parachute National Monument and Mojave County residents joined forces with the Grand Canyon National Park Search and Rescue Team. The search extended to the Coconino County Search and Rescue, as the combined efforts navigated the remote and rough canyon landscape. As this was a rocky area, transportation to this isolated landscape required hours of patience. A makeshift base camp was set up near Kelly Tanks to provide the dedicated search teams with shade, water, food, and essential resources. They pressed on for 6 days, battling the relentless heat and challenging canyon, tirelessly scouring the canyon's depths. Although the search teams needed more space to look for Roberts, he was nowhere to be found. As the 7th day dawned, a tough decision surfaced. On June 24th, the search was scaled back, and authorities shifted into a mode of limited yet continuous efforts. The Grand Canyon, echoing with mystery, continued challenging those who sought answers amidst its grandeur. Roberts' disappearance is still a mystery and caution for other hikers who dare to explore the untamed Grand Canyon. In May 1989, Charles Horvath Allen set out on an adventure across Canada. Born in Ontario and raised in the UK, Charles was a free-spirited young man with dreams as vast as the open road. His plan? To travel from Quebec to British Columbia, soaking in the sights and experiences of the Great White North before celebrating his 21st birthday in Hong Kong with his beloved mother Denise. But fate had other plans. As Charles made his way through the sprawling landscapes of British Columbia, he found himself in Kelowna, a charming town nestled amidst the beauty of Canada's west coast. It was here, at the tiny town campsite, that Charles's journey took a dark and mysterious turn. According to witnesses, Charles was last seen cashing a check at a local bank on May 26, 1989. From there, he vanished without a trace, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions and shattered hopes. Denise, thousands of miles away in England, was thrust into a nightmare of uncertainty, desperate for any sign of her missing son. With no help from local authorities, Denise embarked on a journey of her own. She traveled from England to Canada multiple times, determined to uncover the truth behind her son's disappearance. Armed with flyers and posters, she plastered the town of Kelowna with Charles's image, hoping that someone somewhere would come forward with information. But the road to answers was fraught with obstacles. Despite Denise's tireless efforts, the truth remained elusive. Then a glimmer of hope emerged in the form of a mysterious note delivered to her motel room. The note hinted at Charles's demise, claiming that he had been beaten to death and his body dumped in a nearby lake. The revelation sent shockwaves through Denise's already shattered world, igniting a renewed determination to find her son at any cost. Divers were dispatched to search the lake, but their efforts yielded no results. The body they recovered was not Charles's, leaving Denise with more questions than answers. Frustrated and heartbroken, she refused to give up hope. Year after year, Denise returned to Kelowna, her resolve unwavering despite the passage of time. Her relentless pursuit of the truth caught the attention of Locate International, an international missing persons agency dedicated to solving cold cases. With their help, Denise's search for her son gained new momentum. Locate International partnered with Leeds Beckett University to launch a cold case unit, tasked with delving into Charles's disappearance and uncovering any leads that may have been overlooked. For Denise, it was a ray of hope in a sea of despair. As the investigation unfolded, new details emerged. shedding light on the events leading up to Charles's disappearance. Witnesses came forward, recounting their interactions with Charles in the days before he vanished. Each piece of information brought Denise one step closer to the truth, fueling her determination to find her son. But the road ahead was still long and uncertain. Despite the efforts of Locate International and Leeds Beckett University, Charles's fate remained unknown. Denise refused to give up hope, clinging to the belief that one day she would find the answers she so desperately sought. In August 2020, under the Presumption of Death Act 2013, Charles was officially declared dead after a High Court of Justice hearing. It was a bittersweet moment for Denise, bringing a sense of closure while reigniting her determination to find her son's remains and bring him home. With the support of Locate International and Leeds Beckett University, Denise's search continues. She knows that the road ahead will be difficult, but she refuses to give up hope. For Denise, the quest for answers is not just about finding closure. It's about honoring the memory of her beloved son and ensuring that he is never forgotten. Laura Vogel, an experienced camper and outdoor enthusiast, vanished without a trace on February 21, 2010, while camping alone in the Pauwela area outside of Maui. Laura, who had recently moved to Maui and was known for her love of surfing and hiking, had planned to spend the night under the stars near the Pauwela Point Lighthouse. On the day of her disappearance, Laura had visited a friend and mentioned her plan to camp out for the night. She was last seen wearing a blue shirt and gray sweatpants. When Laura failed to show up for work the next morning, her family grew concerned and contacted the Maui Police Department. Despite their efforts, the police advised them to wait 24 hours before filing a missing person report. Determined to find her, Laura's friends began searching the area themselves. Their search led them to Laura's van, abandoned in a grassy area off the main road. The van's passenger side door was open, and her keys were left in the ignition. However, her cell phone was missing from the car, although her laptop was found on the back seat. The van was parked near a transient camp where homeless people lived out of their cars. Maui police immediately launched an investigation into Laura's disappearance. They searched the area extensively but found no sign of her. They also interviewed everyone in the vicinity, but no one recalled seeing Laura that night. 2 days after the van was found, a search turned up Laura's cell phone nearby, broken into pieces. The phone records showed that after Laura sent a text message to her friend about her camping location, her phone made several calls to a number she had never contacted before. This number belonged to a homeless transient man who lived in the area. Despite his denial of involvement and inconclusive polygraph results, authorities considered him a person of interest in the case. Laura's family and friends were puzzled by her disappearance. They described her as a responsible and experienced hiker who would not take unnecessary risks, especially in flip-flops. They were also concerned about the transient camp near where her van was found, noting the area's reputation for drugs and crime. In the weeks following her disappearance, Laura's family continued to search for answers. They hired private search teams and worked with the police to gather any information that could lead to her whereabouts. Despite their efforts, Laura's case remained unsolved. Over time, 2 theories emerged regarding what happened to Laura. The first theory suggested that Laura had accidentally fallen off one of the cliffs in the area while hiking. The rugged terrain and her choice of footwear could have contributed to such an accident. However, her family believed this theory was unlikely, given Laura's experience and cautious nature. The second theory, which Laura's family found more plausible, was that she had met with foul play. They believed that the phone calls made from her phone after her disappearance, along with the suspicious circumstances surrounding her van, pointed to this conclusion. They also questioned the thoroughness of the police investigation, particularly regarding the transient man and the transient camp near where Laura's van was found. Despite the lack of concrete evidence, Laura's family remained hopeful that one day they would find answers. They continued to raise awareness about her case, hoping that someone with information would come forward. For them, the search for Laura was far from over, and they were determined to find out the truth about what happened to her. 2015, in the vast expanse of the Grand Canyon, a young geology student named Drake Kramer disappeared without a trace. The canyon, stretching over 285 square miles, became a mysterious puzzle for search and rescue teams. Drake, a 21-year-old from San Antonio, Texas, went on an unfortunate journey that distressed his worried parents, Robin and Brenda Kramer. It all began on a Saturday, January 31st, 2015, when Drake was last spotted at the south rim of the Grand Canyon. Little did anyone know that this would be the starting point of a horrific tale. Drake checked out of the Bright Angel Lodge the following day, and from that moment he vanished from the sight of his friends and family. Unaware of his plans, his parents were fighting in a tense situation when they received a puzzling text message from their son. In the text, Drake cryptically stated that he needed to be with Mother Earth, leaving his parents worried and concerned. No one knew his plan. He may have gone hiking or gone somewhere. Drake's father, Mr. Kramer, shed light on his son's recent state of mind. Just days before he went missing, Drake seemed to be in good spirits when they watched the film American Sniper together on January 29th. Mr. Kramer revealed that his son, who worked at Lowe's and studied geology at Northwest Vista College, had recently started school. When they tried to contact his friends, they said Drake was staying with one of his colleagues. His parents, attempting to unravel the mystery, texted their son on Sunday, questioning his whereabouts. To their shock, they learned that Drake had unexpectedly traveled over 1,000 miles to Arizona. His father, Mr. Kramer, expressed that such impulsive behavior was entirely out of character for his son. Drake was an experienced adventurer and had visited the Grand Canyon several times. After receiving his missing report, the National Park Service searched ground and air. The vastness of the Grand Canyon became a challenge for the search and rescue teams. A search team started the search operation on the ground and by air. Despite their unstopped efforts, no further breakthroughs came. The suspense spread like a heavy fog, thick with uncertainty and unanswered questions. The search parties fought with the challenges of the bumpy surface and the blazing sun, but they did not find any clue. The heart of the Grand Canyon did not reveal its secrets, and Drake Kramer remained missing. No one knew what had happened to him on that fateful day. With its towering cliffs and rugged landscapes, the canyon silently witnessed the unresolved mystery. The harsh nature of the Grand Canyon resonated with the unanswered questions surrounding Drake's disappearance, leaving the search parties with a sense of helplessness. The story of Drake Kramer, the geology student who vanished into the Grand Canyon's vastness, remained uncertain. With its enigmatic twists and turns, the canyon had tested the limits of suspense, leaving the search parties with a profound realization. Some mysteries nature keeps hidden, and some tales may never find their resolution. The strength of the human spirit in the face of the unknown nature was tested by the challenging landscape and the haunting absence of answers. The missing story of Drake Kramer became a severe alarm of nature's mysteries.